So here's a couple of stories. Here we are in the intensive care unit. We have quite a few patients, and as you can see, it's very time-consuming to prepare the medication. In fact, it's 2.8 hours per intensive care patient per day. In fact, for this ICU unit in Scandinavia, they were spending 19 hours per shift. That's 2 people who are just dedicated to doing this. So these guys said, well, there must be another way. It needs to be safe, it needs to be more effective, we need to deliver the medication. These guys, of their own accord, together, without any initiative, studied this. And they said, why don't we robotize it? Why don't we automate it? So that's what they did. So they specified a solution. They're talking to commercial partners. This is from the floor. This is from the people who are at the front line. This is the people who do the work, not management. This has got nothing to do with management. This is people from the floor. Here's another one. This is an obstetrics team. And the lady there with the glasses, and second to right, Astrid Skirosen, she's been in this business for ages. What's the problem? The sheets are not very absorbent. So she found, she worked with this and looked out the materials and created a first prototype. More absorbent, more performance, in terms of more hygienic, less storage, all of those kind of good things. Again, from the floor. These are people on the sharp end that do the work. This is not innovation by management. This is innovation by, hang on a second, why don't we do this differently? Hang on a minute, we do this every day. Why do we do this way? So what we need to do is to think of ways to fix kind of these problems. This is Friday night in London, by the way, and I'm not kidding you. This is Friday night in London. I mean, she's had a skinful. She's had beer, she's had vodka, she's had little breezers. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully not last night, because it was really cold. So alcohol was the main or secondary cause of, look at this, 207,800 admissions to hospitals a couple of years back, but it's still about the same. 207,000 admissions. London Ambulance Service that picks these people up when they've fallen over and hit their heads or been in a fight or something like that, received 60,000 calls in 2008. 28% increase in 3 years ago, 6% of the total workload. So on the weekend, what is the ambulance service doing? Desperately ill people with heart attacks and seriously injured? No. Drunk people. Pissed, fell over, pissed, got hit. So here's Brian. Brian Hayes, veteran paramedic, works at Waterloo Ambulance Station, which is a little way away from the centre of town, but not far enough. He spends his time going backwards and forwards all the time. So he said, well, why don't we have a drunk bus? Yeah, I've made it this colour because it's really horrible. But can you see, I haven't got the pointer, can you see those people at the top on the right-hand side? Right at the top, behind Brian? Can you see those bags? That when somebody comes in and looks like they're really going to be ill, they just put a bag over their head. Can you see? Just right up there. So here are 3 staff who crew this bus. The first iteration was a bus itself, a London bus. Now they have dedicated, I don't have the slide, but they have a dedicated bunch of tough-looking guys standing in front of these spanking new buses. And they take a group of patients to hospital. Really simple, really easy. So, ambulance turnaround times improve. We improve response times for situations that are life-threatening. We reduced the number of A&E admissions. And by the way, if you go to A&E on a Saturday night, well, they have security in there because people are still fighting. And in that bus, you can liaise better between, alcohol care, charities, and other agencies. Last one. Norway is very cold and very snowy. So imagine here you are, up in your cabin in northern Norway, and you've run out of wood. You go outside, you cut the tree down, and you slit with the chainsaw. Damn. You phone the hospital, and they send a helicopter, and they take you to Oslo. And when they arrive at Oslo, and it's minus 30, you better make sure that the helicopter doesn't slide off the roof. So we heat the roof. Fair enough? So last year there was a maintenance technician in July on the roof. In July, in Norway, it's about 14 degrees. The ground's warm. He looks up, the ground's warm. He goes downstairs and he says, why is the ground warm? He said, well, we heat it. Oh, of course, so the helicopter doesn't fall off the roof. Are you saying then that we heat the roof, like this big, this room? Yeah. We heat this area 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They said, yes. He said, have you ever heard of a thermostat? Do you know how much money that saved? 20 million Norwegian kroner. In real money, in other people's money, $3 million. Did that come from the top? Did management tell him? Was there an initiative? No. It was just him, using his common sense. And you can't see that. You can't see that as management. And that's the problem. In healthcare, as in other industries, if only the organization knew what the organization knows. Ideas are everywhere. You put people in a room, you give them crayons and sticky things to put on the wall, and they do a great job. But what happens when they go out of the room? Well, they go on Facebook. They go on Facebook. And if you just put in NHS Trust in London into Facebook, this is what you get. You get 300 to 500, and some of those are our customers, by the way. 300 to 500 people who chat about this, and if I was in charge, and Christ, why are we doing this? And isn't this ridiculous? Fantastic. Very easy to use. 10 to the world's populations on there, available from home, but not secure. So if you want to discuss medical issues or patient data, shouldn't use it. So it's blocked in hospitals. It's not measurable. There's no output. There's no output. There's just chat. It's not systematic. There's no process. There's nothing to progress good stuff through. So what happens? You go for a long thread, and by the time you've got to entry number 200, you've forgotten what this was about. It's not measurable, and it's not systematic. Interesting, though. Interesting. How do we enable this latent collaboration, this chatter, this undercurrent, this wish to do things better? And if I was in charge, this is what I would do. Well, conversation is great. Gathering ideas is good. But it's not enough. You need the right support. You need to support those people. You need to move them forward. You need a platform which looks and feels like Facebook, but is about Facebook at work. We need some process there that aggregates employee knowledge and experience. And Henry Chesborough has stimulated that kind of thinking. How do we connect all of these people together? Whether they're in my own organization or outside. Whether they are professionals with PhDs behind their names or the cleaner. And we need a back-end system in order to take those good ideas and shape them and move them forward and make sure they don't die, and the good ones, like we do in product innovation, move forward to market, to implementation. So we need dedicated support. That's what we need. We need social software functionality, and we need innovation management discipline. We need purple flavor, we need green flavor. The purple flavor is all about users, about people interacting, coming forward with their ideas, their challenges, their case studies, the things that they think are important, in a way which is easy.